It is Monday morning, 9 a.m., and I'm here live with the Coaches Plaza. My name's Amanda Kaufman, and we're going to be talking today about one of my favorite topics that comes up in coaching programs all the time, which is, Amanda, what do I do about the overwhelm? There's just too much to do. There's so much that I want to get done in a given day. And I've made the investments that I want to make financially. Like, it's too much. So today's session is all about resetting and reframing, how to stop overthinking and start moving forward. And if you can see me and hear me, let me know on whatever channel you're on. Just like leave a comment, say hello. And let's get this party started. Okay, so today I am going to be going through this topic, but I think really the whole point of it is to help you to let things go and do what matters. Hey, good morning, Jennifer. I'm glad you're here. And towards the end of today's session, there's going to be an opportunity for you to submit questions. And at the bottom of the Instagram live stream, if you're following on another channel, you can hop over to Instagram at the Amanda Kaufman. That's the Amanda Kaufman, and you can come join us on the Instagram live stream because that's where I'll answer your questions. If you want to post a question anonymously, you can just put it in the question bubble. If you want to come join me for some live coaching, just request to join the show and we will have you up here. So that's how this works. And, I really want you to let me know, like, is this really relevant? Do you have a friend perhaps that is just kind of making the same promise week after week that they're going to do something or they're going to follow through on something and they're not? And you see so much potential in this friend. You see how they could be really operating at a whole nother level of income, another level of impact, a whole nother level of influence. But they always seem to have a really good reason why they're not making that progress, or why now is not the good time to be able to grow the business. So I'm going to start out by just covering, like, well, why is this happening? And why is it that we make these big commitments? Like, I'm going to be a 6-figure coach, or I'm going to be a really impactful change maker in my community. We make these commitments, but then overwhelm tends to seize up the gears. It tends to slow us down. So I think a lot of it actually has to do with a really good habit, which is self-reflection or introspection. I think that's a really, really positive thing. So if you're doing a lot of journaling or you're doing a lot of like self-care, that's wonderful until it robs you of your progress. And that's really what I want to talk about today is, like, how do you reset and reframe? So there's a couple of reasons why overthinking actually happens, and I want to unpack those. And if you're a note taker, shout out notes in the chat so that I know that you're one of those studious note takers, and it'll help me know whether we're actually giving you content that you care about, right? But based on the conversations I've been having lately, this seems to be a really hot topic. So overthinking loves to creep in when something negative triggers us, right? So this could be a circumstance or an event. Maybe we experience a rejection. Maybe we worked really, really hard on that business project and it was going to change everything. And then it was just kind of flat. Have you ever had that happen? Or like maybe you're going along, you're minding your own business, and somebody comes along and gives you the worst advice in the world, advice. And the advice, unfortunately, is like super counter to the direction that you were headed. I know that's happened for me where I'm like humming along, bebopping along, and all of a sudden someone I respect, someone I like, someone that, I'm connected with says to me, "Hey, Amanda, you should go in totally the opposite direction to the direction that you're going." Or you should change what you're doing so significantly from where you are right now, because honestly, what you're doing is kind of not going to work, not destined to win. So All of those things come up along the way to building a successful anything. And I think another big trigger one is like, who do you think you are? Have you ever heard that? Like somebody saying like, well, what qualifies you to do this? Or worse, you're saying it to yourself over and over again. What qualifies me? I haven't made money before. Why should I make money now? I haven't had clients before. Why should I do it now? I haven't been online, connecting with people before. Why should I do it now? That like, why now? Why me? Super important. And what can happen is we can flip into this overthinking kind of situation where we're not taking the necessary actions to prove or disprove our hypothesis about what's going to work. We're just thinking about it. We're staying up in our head. Well, happy Monday. And I'm glad you're taking notes. That's awesome. Okay, so it tends to creep in when we're worried about getting things just right. I mean, who here is like super committed to excellence? Shout I am if you are. I know I'm really committed to excellence. And when I was getting ready this morning, I had a shower. That's like my best thinky place. I was thinking about the nature of commitment. And a lot of times we think of commitment as being like committed to a quantity. So for example, I'm committed to posting every day, or I'm committed to showing up on my live stream at 9 a.m., right? So there's like kind of that baseline commitment, but there's another kind of commitment that I think really leads to a lot of overthinking. And that commitment is to your excellence, right? So you're committed to doing a great job and you really want people to get the best out of what you do. I know that's true for me, and let me know if that's true for you too. So you're really thoughtful about the kind of content that you're preparing or the sort of program that you're putting out there. You're super thoughtful about like if somebody comes into your coaching program or your membership or your course, you're really thoughtful that like you want to do a really good job and do right by them because you know what it's like and I know what it's like to invest money that could have gone to a vacation, it could have gone to my savings account, it could have gone to my kiddos and their college fund or whatever, but to invest that money and to be disappointed with my outcomes. So I know what that's like, and I know you know what that's like to buy something and be disappointed with it. So then we think, okay, well, in my commitment to excellence, I'm going to really think about how to not put that pain on other people. If this is resonating, do let me know. So here's the issue. Here's the issue, right? And I know that you cognitively, logically totally understand this. You totally understand that it's impossible to make everybody happy. You get that. But do you accept it? Right? Do you actually accept that there's a portion of your audience who's going to kill it? They're going to do a great job. You guys are going to be high vibe people and you're going to be like in high connection. Then there's going to be the people who like, they're kind of excited on the way in, but they're not as excited all the way through. And you're going to do everything you can to enroll those people, and you're going to do everything you can to get them to really consume and engage with your excellent work. But I know a lot of you, a lot of coaches, a lot of, honestly, some of the very best people I've ever met in terms of their skill set and their ability to help others, they tell themselves stories like, I'm an introvert and therefore I can't post, or I haven't been successful with this, so I'm not going to do anything related to it. And we get into our head and we start thinking, and here's the problem. We start rationalizing and second guessing like all of our decisions. So that thinking, I think thinking is extremely important because you do want to be reflective. But where it gets destructive is when your own mind is kind of taking the wheel to such a degree and just slamming the brakes on and saying like, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try because if I try, I might fail. And if I fail, I'll feel bad. And so it really causes you to second guess those decisions. It causes you to delay action. So, oh my God, quick story on that. When I was starting my business, I knew I wanted to be online. I knew I wanted to be an influencer and like to find my people because I knew that I wanted to stay at home as a mom and at the same time be able to work with anybody in the world. I know that, right? I knew that. It took me 2.5 years to start this Instagram account that I'm talking to you through right now. 2.5 years. And like, that's just to start it. And then you know what I did? Oh, I'm so embarrassed, but I'm telling you this because I really hope that it saves you. I just kind of like I treated it really casually. And so this is again like an example of overthinking, because I would look at somebody's presence on Instagram and I'd be like, oh, they're so pretty. Oh, they're so smart. Oh, they're so wonderful. And do you do this? Like, do you admire people that have like sick abs and like crazy cool houses and cars and amazing lives? Like, I know I do. I actually really do admire it. But then where it gets destructive and where overthinking can really take over is when you start going, well, I don't have six-pack abs. You know, I do not have six-pack abs. I've got a cute tummy, but I do not have six-pack abs. And I would like feel bad, and I would kind of think on your behalf, which, excuse me, you know, I really want to apologize for that. I'm so sorry for doing your job for you, right? Your job is to decide whether you want to be here or not. Your job is to decide whether you want to listen to me or not. That's your job, not my job, right? So then what I would do is I would like post to social media, but I'd be kind of casual about it. You know, I didn't think to like study how my marketing skills that I have from other channels. So I'm like sick good at email marketing, just in case anybody was wondering. I didn't stop to think about how the principles of email marketing that work really well. I didn't even stop to think about how can I apply that to what I know on Instagram. How can I take like my paid advertising knowledge that I have and apply it to Instagram? So overthinking can actually lead to lazy thinking. And like, I don't know about you, I actually like have a major repulsion to lazy thinking. Like in myself, I'm like, I want my thinking to be high quality too, right? Like I want to actually be proactive in my thinking, and I want to think about things in a way that's constructive and helpful and courageous. You know, I don't want to be thinking like, how can I do the very least and at least I'm there. You know, if you've been a victim of like the at least thinking, take this live as your sign that it's okay to make a new decision today, right? Shout out today in the chat if you're hearing me. You know, this delay of action and this obsessing over small details that is not actually constructive towards your goals is really where overthinking hijacks the whole party. So how do we actually shift it? So I promised in today's live we're going to be talking about the reset and the reframe. And so I think the first thing is, if you have been overthinking, if you've been getting into your head, if you've been filling it with dread, if you've just been kind of on this loop, I really want to let you know that that makes you a normal, empathetic, socially connected human being. Because that's what most people do. You're very welcome. I'm so glad this is resonating. And by the way, I thrive on the comments because it helps me know that it matters to you. Because the whole reason to do social media, or the whole reason, oh my gosh, Alice, hi. The whole reason to do social media is to use media to be social. So if you are overthinking it and you're not posting with a regular frequency, or you're thinking, oh my gosh, it has to be at this standard that honestly I don't have the capabilities, capacity, or team to be able to support, then you're going to be frustrated. More frustrated than if you simply take the action of posting with what you know today. So I'm going to give you a little mantra here. Start where you are and grow wherever you want to. Start where you are and grow wherever you want to. So I just saw one of my amazing clients who's like a complete Instagram genius. She joined here, and I was thinking, man, you know, like if I was taking my Instagram more seriously years ago, I probably would have like tapped her on the shoulder and said, hey, can you help me? Right? But because I was overthinking, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, it's such a big distance between where she is and where I am. And I took myself out of the running, right? So overthinking, I would reframe in your mind, is actually just ruminating and swirly thinking, reactive thinking. Okay. So what I'm going to advocate for the mindset reset, and I've got a little worksheet for you. So if you stick around, I'm going to share this with you and you're going to love it. Um, the reset is to understand, okay, my goal is progress over perfection. My goal, if I want to get there faster, I can proactively enroll the support of somebody who's awesome at this. And when you're starting from nothing, you're broke, you can just ask your friend who's pretty good at it. When you've got more liquidity and you can invest in this, then hire an expert that you trust to tell you the truth and to show you the ropes. Okay? So I think that if we change our mindset from what if it's not perfect to what is the first small step, I call this the NBA, the next best action, we end up just like taking that exact same thinking time and we turn it into something that is productive and going to move us forward, right? So I guess like the moral of the story is, when in your notebook, I want you to take overthinking and strike over and just call it reactive thinking. And we're going to just switch it for proactive thinking. Proactive thinking. We're going to put you in the driver's seat of how you think about things. And one of the things that you're going to think about more is done is better than perfect, right? Done is better than imagined. Okay. So it's kind of like you're going into the gym and you're training your brain to think in a little bit of a different way to create the kinds of results that you want to create. So I think the NBA is something that you can do. I would love to know, as you're thinking about this, I'm sure this is brought up for you, what's a major goal that you're working towards right now that maybe you've kind of gotten a little stuck in the overthinking habit or the reactive thinking habit? What is one actionable step you can take with what you've already got right now? Right? So go ahead and share it with me for accountability. Share it in the comments. I'm going to cheer you on. But what's that NBA? What's that next best action? And by the way, it's the best because you said it's the best. It's not the best because it really is the best. There's no way of knowing what the authentic, optimized best is in the entire universe. We just know what universe is inspiring you to say right now. So trust your gut, trust your intuition. And if you're getting stuck here, I really want to give you a couple of my go-to NBAs, if that's okay, that have like really helped me. So one of my NBAs is an energy check. I'll rate my energy on a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say that I need to, let's say that my big goal is I want to enroll more high ticket clients this week, and I want to do it through really authentic and connected conversations. But the thing is, I'm an introvert. But the thing is that I always fall off of my plan of doing that. But the thing is I'm scared I'm going to run out of people to talk to, right? So you see how the overthinking, reactive thinking, as soon as you make a proposal, your brain goes, here's all the garbage, right? So what I want you to do is, like, for a really easy NBA, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's your energy right now? And if my energy is anything below an 8, I do something to help my energy. So I have like a go-to list of energy energizers, and they're things like listening to that playlist that helps me get into the mood. It's things like go and get a cup of tea, decaf, please. It could be go for a walk. Like, I'll just check, have you gone for a walk today? Have you spent 45 minutes, moving your body? It could be, when was the last time you ate? What's your calorie count for today? How's your macros? You a little heavy on the carbs, a little low on the protein? Like, what are those kind of quick hit things? And the goal is to shift more towards an 8. So I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I ask myself this question and it's like 2. I'm a 2 out of 10. But just by taking the action towards the 8, maybe I might move my energy from a 2 to, say, a 4. I'm still way better off than if I just stayed at a 4. Now, here's how you stay out of overthinking. Then what's the next best action? So then I'll ask myself, okay, if my energy is a 4, what can I do right now that will meet me at 4? Okay. So yeah, right? So what can I do right now that will meet me at 4? So another NBA that's really helpful for me is, where do I lack clarity or a process? Where do I lack clarity or a process? And so just by asking myself that question, for example, going back to the goal of, like, I want to reach out to a bunch of people, I'm nervous about reaching out to people. right? And so like I don't know how to open the conversation. So then I'm going to take some time and I'm going to go to my mentorship. I'm going to go to my ChatGPT. I'm going to go to something and I'm going to actually, my NBA is do the research to make a decision about what is my opener going to be and how many people am I going to reach out to. So the action isn't actually doing the reach out. The action is make a decision about what this is going to look like. And then from that place, I can ask myself again what the NBA is, right? So it's research, it's a decision, it's an energy move. Those are three. There's so many NBAs that you could probably do. Do let me know in the chat what your NBA is for your goal. Okay. I think you need to do this reset if you monitor the words coming out of your mouth and they are negative. Okay. So I was like, how do you know when you need the mindset reset? It's like, well, when you're being kind of a butt, like when you're tired or you're lethargic and you're making excuses. Like if you hear those words, if you catch those words coming into your mind or coming out of your mouth, if you were explaining to somebody why you're not taking massive action to your goals, that's your clue that you need the reset. So I want to give you a couple more tools to help you get unstuck and moving forward. And I've got a little worksheet for you as well. So the first thing is to really just ground yourself into the moment of today. Part of the reason we flip into reactive thinking or overthinking is because we're so obsessed about the mistakes we made in the past, or we're so obsessed about our anxiety for the success in the future, right? The truth is that actually I've got a really great little saying about this. Okay, I'm going to get this because it's kind of cool. I got to hang it up, but I guess it's not been a huge priority. Okay, so I love this. Oh, ring light moment. Ring light moment. There we go. There are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, the other is called tomorrow. So today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. And that's with the Dalai Lama. Isn't that just so pretty? My sister got this for, I really need to hang it up. Don't tell her that I haven't hung it up yet. Okay. So, but that's kind of getting to this idea of grounding. The reason that you're not making the progress that you could be making right now is because you're so obsessed with the future and you're so obsessed with the past. So if we shift from reactive thinking to proactive thinking, then something that can really help is just a calendar and a schedule where you've pre-decided what it is that you want to do. But then what happens when the time block arrives? This is where a lot of my clients say, Amanda, help. Right? Is they have the thing on the calendar and then they blow past it. And here's what I say to that. You need a technique that's going to make you honor your time blocks in whatever energy you have, right? In whatever energy you have. So a grounding technique might be using the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, where you need to do this next action. You count down from 5 as soon as you recognize you need to do it, and you do the thing. And that's such a powerful move because basically your brain doesn't have a lot of time to build up the logics and all the reasons for why you shouldn't do the thing. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Shout out 5 if that's something you're willing to try. Another really good one is using alarms on your phone or on your watch. So I have an Apple Watch, and literally the main reason that I have an Apple Watch, for all the bells and whistles and all the fancy things it could do, is the timer. I love the timer. So if I need to do something that is kind of tedious, it's super boring, and I don't really want to do it. And yes, there are things like that in your coaching business. Hello, welcome to life, right? I'll set a timer for 25 minutes. And if that's way too much for my energy, I'll set a timer for at least 10. And I'll do a 10-minute sprint. And I'm it can suck so much for 10 minutes and I can do it, right? So I use timers for focus. The other thing that I do is for example, on the energy break, I'll do the energy break, but I'll set a timer for how long I have to recharge. So, for example, just this morning, I was like, okay, I really feel like I need a bit of a breather. I did a lot of work this morning and I was like, I need a little bit of a breather. So I set a timer for 20 minutes and I was like, you can do whatever you want for 20 minutes. Cause I was just feeling like this grip of like, have to, got to, should, and also like could, and like all these reactionary thoughts were kind of coming into my brain. And I was like, okay, I need a break. And this is after working for 3 or 4 hours. So how reasonable is that, right? Shout out break in the chat if you're like, it's so reasonable to take a break. But the issue is that a lot of times people don't constrain the break and then they never get back to the work because they're relying on their reactive brain to tell them when to focus. Another really good practical tip is to set imperfect action goals, right? So these are simple, attainable, and measurable. So meaning like you can actually see or measure whether the thing was done or not and to what degree it was done or not. So an imperfect action goal. One for me is I post to Facebook, 8 times a day. And I tell people that I learned that from a colleague of mine, and I was like, really, 8 times a day? But then I started looking at all the highest performers in our space, and they do post like really frequently. And I was like, well, I'm going to just try it. And I'm not going to give myself all this pressure that it's got to be perfect. So remember what I said earlier about commitment. There's kind of two dimensions of commitment. There's the commitment to take the action, and then there's the commitment to have excellence with the action. So what I like to do is I like to organize my commitment. So what I mean by that is first, I'm going to commit to posting, and I'm going to let it be massive, imperfect action. I'm going to let it not be all that good. And it's not because I'm trying to be trash. It's because I'm just like new to it. I'm new to it. I don't like, I think I see what works, but I kind of want, I just kind of let it be a little hot messy. And I know a lot of people really don't like to operate like that. They like to operate with a whole lot of pre-excellence. But here's what I'll tell you after 8 years in this business, right? And about 6 of those being like really into online marketing. First of all, the definition of what's perfect changes according to who you ask. So, there's some people really love long form written content. Some people really love video. Some people, when they're in a certain mood, they like video. And when they're in a certain mood, they prefer to read. And so when you're publishing content, your goal is not to make everybody happy because you freaking can't. The other thing that I'll tell you is that the trends really change. So for example, when I first started using Facebook and Instagram more, ManyChat automation was all the rage. And now it's like standard operating procedure. Everybody has ManyChat. Everybody kind of expects to just like have that automation happen to the point where it's kind of swung the other way. And now it's like people are craving that connection with other people, but at the same time, they like the convenience of a lot of automation. What I'm saying is the target moves. So if you're like busy trying to get pretty and primed and pre-prepared for what's going to be so perfect, first of all, that is a lost cause. And secondly, you're not going to know what's working right now if you don't do it right now. If you're following a trend, and this is like one of the biggest reasons I wanted to talk about overthinking. If you're following a trend from even 2 years ago or even 1 year ago, some of those trends are irrelevant anymore. But the thing is, you can't know which ones are relevant or not relevant unless you try and you actually see for yourself. So for example, I'm going to give you a specific example from growing this Instagram account. I have had so many people suggest through my feeds that like a short reel doesn't work anymore. And now we need to do carousels. Now it's just a little convenient that the people saying that we need to do carousels now are selling a how to do carousels course, right? So it's in their benefit and interest to say it doesn't work. But when I look at my highest performing reels from the last 90 days, guess what? They were silent. And they were short. They were still like they were the exact format that lots of experts are saying right now is dead and doesn't work. So you've got to remember, like, I'm not saying that they're necessarily lying. I'm saying that you've got to understand your context for your business with your data and like challenge stuff, try different things because it may not work as well as it was working for those larger accounts. But as a smaller account growing, it has worked pretty good. And what mattered, it turned out, was that there was something kind of surprising. Like one of them, I was putting makeup on, and I'm like, why do people want to see that? And I looked at it, and I was like, well, it's kind of an unconventional way that I do my eye makeup, I guess. And it's just sort of like, what is she doing? You know, it kind of stops the scroll, and it's a bit of a visual hook. The other thing is that I'm actually talking about in my reels something that like people actually care about. So, you know, the other one was saying like stop coaching for free, and it's just literally me sitting there writing in my journal. It's not curated. I didn't even have a tripod or anything. I think I even made it a black and white reel because I didn't want it to be so obvious I was wearing pajamas. True story. But it performed extremely well, you know? And then there's other things where I've put a ton of thought and curation like into it using all the principles of everything that I know, and it was just didn't perform at all. It didn't resonate. And I'm just sharing this with you because I think sometimes we trick ourselves into thinking that if we put so much preparation in without any experience whatsoever with what it is that we're trying to prepare, we're going to win, and we're not. So, okay. I just want to remind you that I'm here to answer any questions, and the best way to ask a question is there's like a little bubble with a question mark at the bottom, or you can request to come on camera. You just smash that plus sign. But I want to send you to resources.thecoachesplaza.com. There's no opt-in or anything like that. Or you can DM me. I learned this yesterday or last week. I lose the comments on Instagram as soon as I finish. So if you want the worksheet, comment mindset to the DMs. Send me a direct message and say mindset so that I can get it to you, because I lose it on this one. On Facebook, that's not the case. So what it is it's a mindset reset activation that is meant to go with your journal. So you can sit down with your journal and you can actually walk through like why, where you may be overthinking and how you'd like to reframe. And so today we dove into why overthinking happens and how it can keep us from making like real progress. And so if you've ever felt in that cycle of second guessing or doubt, then we basically just went through all of it in today's live. So next week, I'm going to be going live again with another really relevant topic. Hopefully you find it super helpful. If you want the show notes, if you want the worksheet, you can just DM me the word mindset and I'll know that you're talking about today's show. And on Friday in Instagram, I am sharing a open Q&A. So you can collect your questions through the week and you can go ahead and post those in response on the Friday stories post. And that's pretty much what I have for you. So again, mindset reset worksheet, just shout out mindset in my DMs and I will send that over to you. Or you can head over to resources.thecoachesplaza.com. That's coaches ES, thecoachesplaza.com. And you can just go get that directly if you prefer. Okay, y'all, that's me. We'll see you soon. Bye.